Okay, I'm back. I had to take a phone call. Uh, so we were going to do this about the great fires of mostly America. And I don't have that much time. I've got less than half an hour. So I guess this will be more a talk for people that listen later and less of a live chitty chat. Um, well, I don't know. We'll see how it turns out. We'll see if it shows back up. But as I was saying earlier, we could do this about the reset cities, the great fires, and the silliness of what the Civil War was, what the basically any war was, because they seem to all be pretty much bullshit to a pretty big degree, um, to a huge degree. So so this is something that some people go they get upset when I say, and I think you should be less. Not even not upset. You shouldn't even be upset. You should be happy. Wouldn't it be a better world that we didn't have the wars that supposedly occurred, the Civil War, the World Wars, or dare I say something about something like, oh, concentration camps and things like this. Ooh, do not speak of these weird things. Don't look into it. Don't look over there. Don't look into that box. Wouldn't it be a better world? I mean, apparently it would, but then you have to deal with the fact that there's so much lie, so much bullshit, which is, I don't know, is that as bad as wars? And I guess that's debatable, huh? Anyways, we'll save all of that for another time because I think that's a little more in-depth subject, and it's probably something I'll do a lot. Excuse me, I'll do a live show on, and I won't allow comments because I know that I'll just have agents of insanity and idiocy comment beneath the video, so I'll just do a live video on it. But as far as this, I think it's a little more reasonable for people to consider the idea that the fires that had occurred basically in every yeah, the great fires of the late 1800s, early 1900s that occurred in every city. Just so happens there was one great fire in every city. One dumb asshole knocked the candle over. One cat did this. One fucking, like how the insanity of believing that a fire could burn down concrete buildings, brick buildings. It, it can't happen. It doesn't work that way. And then some people are like, no, these cities they're built of wood. No, they weren't. You can look at the pictures of the supposed pictures of these things that are falling. They're just falling over. Do you know that fireplaces are made out of brick and mortar, so you can put a fire in it and it doesn't knock it down? That's the point of it. And so most of these buildings were made of that, and apparently fires knocked them all down. All of these cities, all over this land that you call America. And then when you look at the time frames and when these things happened, the drawings or the pictures of these things, and then only 20 years later, supposedly the whole entire city is rebuilt. It's not only I'm not gonna say impossible, but it's impossible. I just said it's impossible. I said I'm not gonna say it when I say it. It's retarded. It's absurd to think that that could possibly be a thing. Like I've done videos on this before, and just the logistics of even putting up a few buildings in that time frame, it's ridiculous. Even a few buildings, small buildings. 20 years, you're not putting up giant monstrosities. You're not putting up like, which is even further down the line of the silliness that fires could destroy these cities, and all of them. It's 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 humorous. It's very laughable. If we were not so um, programmed from birth with all of the bullshit and all of the propaganda and nonsense about how things were, and read this book and this is what it was, this is what happened. If we didn't have all of that, if we were just a free thinking, critical thinking set of peoples, and we just said, hey, do you think this could occur? There would be no one that would come to the conclusion that the things that we've been told the about slavery, about how that occurred, we couldn't believe it. It would be insane to even think about the wars, about the the fires, about every aspect of history. There's literally just about nothing you can believe. So I mean, where some people say, well, the truth must lie in the middle somewhere. No, I don't think it does. I think it's completely a lie. I don't think much of anything occurred during those times, other than just here, write a book, falsify some history. In 2 years, they'll believe it. You put a book and say, oh, this is what happened to the city, and you move a population into it. What are they going to believe? They'd have nothing else to believe. Oh, okay, yeah, that's what happened. That's what they said. And so that's where we sit. And not only that, but like in current time frame, like how much history that we thought we knew. It's like, they call it the Mandela effect. I mean, there's some things that are just like, no, that didn't happen like that. That happened like that. What do we know? These we get into the ideas that people have of different timelines and shifting dimensions and things, which I think is a possibility as well. But the idea of these fires, and mud floods and things like this, people say, "Oh, that's a Mandela effect," and I was like, "I don't think so. I think it's just something that we collectively did not notice because we were so entrained to believe a set of things that, I mean, nothing's really changed about the idea that most people believe the Civil War happened. Like, nothing's changed about that. But if you really consider it, most people, there's no, we've always believed slavery occurred, but now people are starting to wake up to the word slavery and Slavic and all of these orphan trains. And where did all these white people come from? We call them white people, Slavic people. Where did all these kids come from? Where are these pictures of the natives of the land? Where are they? And how did we get the slaves over here? Getting into all of that, like, none of that changed. Only what we're considering to be what really could have really occurred. What seems reasonable, what seems like a reasonable, like, set of, like, oh, how did that happen? Well, that doesn't seem right. Now, does it? Does that seem like? Does it seem right to you that you could take oh, I don't know, 500 strong African from the continent of Africa, not in the whole take all of these people, 500 strong, burly fucking men, subdue them with a couple dudes that had some whips. What? And then you get them onto a ship, and they don't get chlorella. They don't vomit all over the place. They're not living in piles of shit as they're coming over on some boat. None of this is making any sense. The amount of people, the time frame, the Civil War. When you start looking at the pictures, none of this shit happened. It's all ridiculous. The fires, most importantly, it's so absurd. There's literally nothing that when you start reading these books, and then if you go deeper into it, start reading the books, and who are these people that are writing the books? What are the institutions? What are they? Everybody considers CNN and Fox and all of these Associated Press networks to be full of complete shit. We've established that, and we've established that all of these big corporations that are owned like by Procter and Gamble and all of this that are feeding us food have poisoned the food. So we've accepted those things. Now start to look into your history, that the education system. Oh, the education system that the government that you completely trust gave you, and then look into the people that wrote the books. And what was their purpose? What do they need to do? Their purpose ain't to tell you. The tyrants aren't. Their purpose is not to tell you what's really going on. They don't want to teach you how to critically think. They don't want you to teach you how. It's not in their best interest. But getting back to like these fires and stuff, I mean, that's part of it. The great fires of every city. That's very much part of it. I mean, most people aren't taught about the great fires, but if you do like any cursory research into it, you'll see that your city too had a great fire, I'm sure, and the absurdity of it. So yeah, I'll dig into a couple if anybody's here and there's any questions. Let me let me go put some tea. Let me put my tea together, and I'll be back in 1 minute. interesting thing, the interesting thing about historians and history is that it runs a very parallel line with scientism. See, scientific people that claim to be scientific, they do the same thing as people that believe in history do. They're believing the same story because I can find science that will lead me to believe that vaccines are good. And I can find science that will lead me to believe that vaccines are bad. Both very valid in whoever's mind, right? I can find history books that will claim one thing versus another. But yet, when people have been told something, whether it's through scientific dogma, through religious dogma, or historical dogma, the first thing they were told and what they were told the most, they believe. And they continue to believe it. Yet, everything in their senses would tell them the opposite, or something completely different. Everything about your senses will tell you the Earth is probably flat. It's not a ball spinning through space. Pretty much everything in your senses will tell you that. They'll tell you flat, the water finds a level. Everything in your senses, when you look into the history of the fires, will tell you that that couldn't have happened and that the cities couldn't have been rebuilt. Everything. If you have any logic whatsoever, if you've ever built anything, if you know anything to do with how fire works, how long it takes to build something, everything will tell you about the pictures you see about the Civil War and the World War will tell you. You get into the World War. What do you think? You think all of these countries that are all part of a larger, everybody believes in secret societies. So now all of a sudden these people that are leading the world, they really want war? No, they don't. They don't care. They want the illusion of war to keep a population under control. That's what they want. Why would they want to destroy the resources? Destroy the resources that, like, which is the human resources? Why would they want to do that? They want to kill us all. They want to reduce the population. Maybe, but they're not trying to kill you. They're trying. I mean, you keep eating the poison. If they wanted to kill you, they would have killed you, dumbass. That's the point. That's the point. If all these things needed to happen, they could just shoot people, kill them, like what the fuck ever. But that's not happening. If they want to reduce the population, it'd be done. If they, right? But there isn't. It doesn't work that way. These people at the top, they're not like. It's any type of critical thinking will lead you to the same conclusion, that history is completely fabricated, all of it. Science is scientism. Religion is dogmatic and has nothing to do with the esoteric understanding of what the books are really saying. And that there's not about anything that you can really go, yeah, that's exactly what it is, at what I've been told at face value, because it never is. It never is. You can't. You trust your parents that told you that Santa Claus exists? You trust your parents that told you about the Easter Bunny? How much shit as you got older did you realize they were either didn't know, or were bullshitting about, or didn't know and then just decided to fill in the blanks for you because they didn't feel like dealing with all your questions? Remember, as a child, you ever talk to a kid? They're like, "Why is this? And how about that? And what? Who's that? And how did that work?" And then the parents just go, "Oh, I don't know all the answers. I don't feel like answering all these questions," and then they just lie or make something up, and then lead the kid down some path of ridiculousness. And then as a collective, that's what the school systems do. But they do it. There's more purpose filled. It's more purpose driven when you look into that. Because that's the way it is. Because that's what I said. That's the way it is. Let me see what you had to say. Because I only got a few more minutes, y'all. Let me see. I still got a shower, I guess. Just roll out of bed to talk to you guys. Yes, the plasma apocalypse letters numbers runs parallel pretty much with Martin Kenny's work and Norb's theory's work. Martin Kenny's newest work on flat Earth universe. Is that what it is? Flat Earth universe? I think that's it. His newest video goes a little deeper into that. Let me drink some of this. There we go. It goes deeper into that, but yeah. Funny how criticism Yeah, yeah. I mean, stupid people will say the dumbest shit, and you just gotta go, oh wow, here's another fucking like numbskull, like that literally, then you got to feel sorry for them. I mean, that's all you can do. You can't get angry. If you get, I mean, I've gotten angry plenty of times, but the point you just gonna go, oh man, I do feel sorry for you. You're completely brain dead. But then there's some people that, as I've explained before, and if I take all of what I said and add modern medicine and pharmaceutical bullshit into it, um, I mean, you're gonna find somebody that's like 45, 50, 60 years old towards the end of their career or the end of their life, and you think, because they probably still have quite a debt to pay. They got a big house, they got a couple nice cars, the whole, you know, I got the golf pass for the really nice country club, and the wife that's out their league, and the kids they got to pay for. Probably got some grandkids at this point. You gonna convince them against their paycheck? Are you gonna convince them that everything they've been doing is a sham? It's a lie. That it's all poison. Even if they believed it a little bit, could they? You can't. You cannot. I forget who said this. You cannot convince a man of the truth if his paycheck requires him to continue to believe in the lie. How could you? Now, if people were not in debt, if they didn't have so many tentacles and strings attached to family and kids and what the house payment and that status, and at that point, if you're in your 50s or whatever, what other education do you have? What are you going to do? You're going to just stop being a doctor and then go take a job as what? What life skills do you have besides what? Knowing how some chemicals interact with each other, but not even completely, because you don't know how the human body works. What is that gonna? What walk of life, in what corporation is that going to be valid? It's not. And you're going to be overqualified to work at McDonald's. And who the fuck is going to go work at McDonald's after work? You know what I mean? That kind of mindset. I'm going to go start bagging groceries. Couldn't happen. They wouldn't hire you. You're overqualified. But you're really not. You probably couldn't bag groceries. Probably don't know how that shit works. But so with that being said, let me scroll through a little bit of what you guys are talking about. What's up, James Breeden? Yeah, it's funny how criticism is portrayed as something negative, but a lot of times it's not criticism. It's just about like an open dialogue or debate to get to a better idea. What's splendid, Will Johnson? They don't teach philosophy in school. They do not. There's no reason for it. You can't have people thinking. You can't have people coming up with their own set of ideas and what they think, what they believe, what they feel, what their understanding is. Well, John, you'd have to be high to believe it. No, you'd have to be the opposite of high to believe it. If you got high, you'd be like, if you like really got high, you'd be like, oh shit, it's all a fucking, what is this? James Breeden, it is a pickle. I mean, we're living in dark times, blah blah blah. I think that's past. I think that you still see remnants of it, but the amount of people and the amount of information that's available, and the amount of people that are just like woke, but no, really like kind of like, yo, there's a lot, there's a ton, there's many more, and there's a lot of people that know what the fuck, but they're not gonna, like I said, we were talking about like doctors and shit. Where are they gonna get on YouTube and start making videos? Most people are not comfortable speaking, in general, and then to put their face on camera and speak, they're not comfortable doing that. It takes a lot. I mean, shit, I remember it took me quite a bit. Like, I was not comfortable with my voice or even being on camera. I didn't like it. And one day I was just like, fuck it, you know. You could see that even my earliest videos. Um, the way I talk is way different now than it was then, and it's way different um, in person than it is on here than it is speaking to different people. I have different tones and qualities to my voice and things. But yeah, so getting to that, to have people like getting this dark age thing. No, I think there's a lot more people there, wise and hip and conscious and aware and have an understanding of what the fuck is really up. Yet they don't have a solution, and they're not willing to go, hey, you know, I know people that know the Earth is flat. No. But do you think they're gonna go share that in their friend group? You think they're gonna share that in their in their work environment? They'll be ostracized. You gonna lose your job over the because now you're the idiot that thinks the Earth is flat. You can lose your job over that. So that goes into all that. So, but I think that idea is becoming less and less. I don't know. What do they say? At first, an idea is ridiculed. It's laughed at, blah blah blah. Then it goes through these stages until it's accepted as we always knew that. We're kind of in the middle there, uh, with the way people act about it, because most people just aren't willing to put. You got all the information you need right here, but to get over that hump of saying I've been lied to for my whole fucking life from everyone, from all the institutions, that's a hard thing to swallow for most people. Universal disclosure, yeah, I think that could because no matter what it's always there's the black hats and the white hats, even though it's way bigger than that. There's the red pillars and the blue pillars and the purple pillars and blah blah blah. It's even bigger than that. And even within these institutions, there's the good guys and the bad guys. It doesn't mean good and bad; it just means agendas. Our people, the most basic agenda is always the oldest one that you've heard. You've got the Anu or the Anunnaki, and you got the ones that are the fallen angels of this kind of idea, and the ones that said no, these people, these humans, they don't deserve the knowledge. They'll waste it and they'll use it to destroy shit. Don't eat of the fruit of the tree of everlasting life and the tree of knowledge, and the other ones and the other Anu or the other fallen angels. These kind of ideas, they'd be like, no, you have to give it to them. That is the disclosure. You have to give them this knowledge. That's not righteous that you wouldn't do that because that's what their argument was. You once were ignorant and someone gave you the knowledge. Now you have it and now you won't share it with them. That's bullshit. Now considering if I were a fallen angel, what would I do? What team would I be on if there was a team? I don't think there are teams, but disseminating and showing people knowledge about simple things. Well, there's that. Oh, the worst are highly intelligent people are highly indoctrinated. Yeah, that is the majority of them because then they also have an attitude. They have that I'm better than you attitude. I'm a doctor. Yeah. Okay. Then I just go, did you ever watch that movie Good Will Hunting? You know what I mean? When he's like, yeah, I got the same education as you for, $12 in overdue library books. I feel the same way. And in fact, I have a greater education. Is that, pat on my back? Yes, it is. Good job. Good job, me. Who else the fuck am I going to thank? You know what I mean? Thank you, everybody that's helped me along the way, for sure. But, you know what I mean? It's like, people go to become a doctor. They go to school. They get shoveled, spoon-fed all that information. Now they got it. And they don't do anything after that. They don't develop anything after that. There's no education. You find people that are doctors, they're a doctor, and that's them. I'm a doctor. I work, do my damn fucking party, and fucking that's the. I know I'm a doctor. I have a doctorate. No, you don't. You have an indoctrination. That's what you have. Yeah, it is. It is because they're the most sure. What is it said? Why is it the The ones that are most intelligent are the most unsure of themselves, and the ones that are most intelligent are the most, the dumbest are the most sure of themselves. Well, doctors are the most sure of themselves, like sure of the knowledge they have. They would fit into what I would consider like not intelligent people, in the way what I consider intelligence. Because there's so many levels of intelligence. There's physical intelligence, emotional intelligence, um, your general sets of intelligence. Humor is an intelligence. There's so many different ways of, look at the. Sorry for the little thing on the throat. Whenever I get up in the morning, I gotta kind of shake it off. But um, the the Egyptians apparently thought there were 360 kinds of intelligences. Um, See, I think there's a stand. I think there's nine very very prominent ones, and I did a video a while ago on those. Maybe I can find it for you guys. Um, Thank you, Will Jones. The powers that be are the powers that were. I certainly agree with this. They were the powers that were, and I think it's for a lot of reasons, cyclical and otherwise. But it's like I'm sorry, guys. There we go. When I said they dropped the ball, if you say somebody drops the ball in sports, like they literally dropped the ball, the ball earth, the bowel, the BAAL, ball, Lord Ball, they dropped the ball because they've been doing their damn thing for a long time and they've destroyed ball. You know, Now you're not supposed to destroy ball. You're not supposed to drop it. You're supposed to clean it. You're supposed to play the game. You're supposed to have a bowel. You're supposed to have. It's supposed to be part of your system. Baal is part of the. He's the Lord of the world. When we say he, you mean. You're basically meaning Mama Earth. Lord Baal is Mama Earth for all intents and purposes, or intensive purposes, however you like to say that one. Um, so yeah, they're not. They ain't on the ball no more. You ain't on the ball. You dropped the ball. So it's encoded language, but there it is. Will Johnson, this is 100% fact. The illusion is still running through but the program will fall or fail, and the kings and queens shall inherit the earth. The meek kings and queens shall absolutely, because um, I don't know if they have an illusion of. I don't know if they know they're immortal, or if they know that they're gonna die and come back, and I don't know if that's why they're trying to technologically um, elongate their life. I don't know if they actually are um, interdimensional travelers. Blah blah blah. I don't know, but where they are now, if they are in the bodies they are, if that's just their, they're just in some lineage of people that tried to control the world. Yeah, they're definitely no. They're, these people that you see there, their ideas, are becoming obsolete in every way. Everyone accepts that the ideas of capitalism is ridiculous. We accept that. Most everybody does. There's only a few people that the only few people that believe in capitalism are the people that have a lot. They'll fight it to the end. But there's not a lot of people with a lot. With a whole shit ton. And everybody else realizes completely because they're getting the short end. They're getting the scraps from the table. So these people that were supposedly in power, it's what Buckminster Fuller says. To get rid of a system, you don't destroy the old one. You implement a new one, and the old one becomes obsolete. Their programs and their systems are becoming very quickly obsolete. But we can see it. Even look at how often you have to update your phone. Look at how you got to update this. You got to. I mean, it happens so quickly that these programs and ideas and mindsets are getting shifted. I've seen people that I was, as internet celebrities to a degree, or people that have like channels. I've seen them just go, and just take this direction of going, oh, I didn't think that person would ever become conscious, aware of this idea. I mean, you have these smaller channels that are kind of like, how did they become big? They're not entertaining. They're completely miseducated, and people are like, you see all these stupid comments, and you're like, oh, I see what's going on here. These aren't real people, and this person believes. So you got one person like, I've got 20,000 subs and blah blah blah, but yet it's really falling on deaf ears because no one's buying into their bullshit, and so they have no credibility, they have no authenticity, they have no there's nothing to what they're saying. It's more of the same old nonsense propaganda. It's the same scientism, same religious dogma, same historical bullshit. And people are just like unearthing the real, the tribal knowledge, the earthy knowledge, the mama knowledge, the knowledge of the real, the astronomy, what's going on in the skies. If the moon is out when the sun's out, can we figure this out? How did that work? That can't be, but it is. The water's kind of flat. Okay, shit. What else are they? Okay, so this organization, full on bullshit. Even if the people in it believe it, now they're starting to get wise. They go, oh, really? Why do people really believe that? Are they that stupid? Oh shit! Damn it! That they might be right. Brennan Esteban, I'm not having that conversation right now here. I don't have time for that. And maybe I'll do it another time with you. But no, I subscribe to the idea of E prime. 99. I'm 99% sure of anything. I'm not 100% sure of anything. 99% sure though. And it's for the reason that it always gives allowance for like, oh, I could be wrong, but I'd gamble on it, thinking that outside of what I can see, I don't see concave. I see flat. I mean, I get my eyes curve. I get all of that, but it would seem more relevant. It would seem more correct that we lived inside of an egg. I don't know where this concave still implies curve, so point to it and show me. But I've had people, when someone says that, I get a little suspect of that person, because I've had too many people that I know all the other shit they're doing, and they're pushing another silly agenda trying to get in the way of a truth, which is, hey, we all in this together, and it's probably flat. Just get off the fucking nonsense of spinning through outer space in a heliocentric model, But now we got to just throw one more thing. Wait a second. No, it's kind of convex, kind of concave. We'll play that game another time, man. But good to see you as always. Yeah, Brandon. I'm not getting goaded into that shit. So see that to me, when you do this right here in the middle of this, makes me very suspect of what you're doing. It does. You know what I mean? Because I've never met you. I don't know you. I've had some conversation. I thought you were cool, and now I'm just like, slow with that shit. Slow your roll right there, homie. Doctor, Garden of the Docs, exactly. Sick, seasick. Yeah, the doctors. Yeah. Yeah, that gets into all of the etymology of the maritime admiralty law and shit. So check it out, y'all. I got a roll. So it has been fun. I wish I could. Brian Mullen, the skateboarder. Brian Mullen, the skateboarder. I don't know. See, so let me scroll through here and just say goodbye to everybody. See if anybody. Sorry, I can't get to the rest of it, but I do got to roll because I got to be somewhere in 20 minutes. I didn't realize how late it was. Oh, Brandon Esteban, you really exposing yourself, huh? Yep, flat in the city. Totally, Divine Hazel. Yeah, Will Johnson will get into communism and socialism. Those things cannot exist. They cannot exist within a system that has a monetary system that allows. Once you have a monetary system, capitalism, communism, socialism don't exist. I'll give you a lesson. I mean, I'm not going to teach you a lesson, but like, people don't consider what what communism really means or socialism means when you use money to. There's still a there's still something happening there. I'll explain it sometime other. Um, um, it's awkward because a good friend is working in space exploration. Yeah. Tell him to get in a spaceship and go the fuck out there. I mean, I'm not saying there isn't an out there. I believe there is a space. I believe there is an out there, but not the way that they're presenting it in any fashion whatsoever. Arnott says, guess why you've been working more? Arnott is. Peace out, everybody. Good to see you, Arnott. Good to see you, Brandon Esteban. Good to see you, Freak. And we'll talk soon. Yeah, Arnott, I'll get in the copper thing for you.